How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ethan Bridge and I'm host of the Social Media Marketing School podcast and the guy behind the Instagram page at The Marketing Ethan. Now, there's this common stigma on social media that the thing that directly correlates to success is the amount of engagement you receive on your content, whether that be likes, comments, shares, saves. And although that gives a sense of understanding of how well your piece of content is performing, it doesn't necessarily mean that that piece of content is quote unquote successful. Successful is completely subjective when it comes to content creation. Each content creator is going to have a completely different goal that they are trying to achieve from the content they post. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you get loads of likes that your content is successful, because likes may not have been your end goal. Your end goal may have been that you wanted to get a client. Now, getting engagement on posts is pretty simple, to be honest. If you want to get loads of likes, talk about Instagram growth, talk about engagement strategies, talk about hashtags, talk about how to get more followers, talk about something controversial. The engagement will just come flooding in. But this kind of content doesn't necessarily bring you clients, assuming that getting clients is your end goal. So that's why in today's podcast episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about actually achieving the goals you want from the content you produce. Because I get it. Look, likes, comments, shares, saves, they make us feel great. They're vanity metrics. You see a post that gets loads of likes and you think, yes, finally, something's working. But a post that gets 10 to 15 likes may bring you a client, whereas a post that got 250, 300 may bring you nothing at all, apart from the engagement. So this is where you have to balance things as a content creator. Do you want to achieve a desired outcome? Or do you want to simply achieve more engagement? Now, these outcomes might shift and change as you progress over time, but it's something you seriously need to consider. So I'm just going to talk through a few things. This is only going to be a quick, short episode on how you can actually achieve the goals you want to achieve from your content. Simple as that. Now, let's just say you're a product or service-based business that helps people succeed on social media, grow a presence on social media. Now, your goal would be to get clients. Yet, let's say you are posting content like motivational quotes or content that isn't really associated with Instagram growth or social media growth. You are never going to attract the right people to your page because your content isn't tailored to the expertise or the product that you are selling. So, you want to create content that is associated with it. Because when you create content that is associated with your expertise, you are going to build authority within that niche and you're going to bring in the right people, the interested people that would buy your product or service. Now you might be thinking, oh yeah, but motivational quotes, they reach more people, they get more likes. Fine, but you might just be attracting the completely wrong audience. So although your follower count may be going up, it's going up with the wrong people. And therefore, you're never actually going to sell that product or service anyway. So the content you produce needs to be tailored to your expertise in which you're selling that product or service for. Otherwise, you're never going to attract anyone that's actually interested in what you're selling. So don't veer off topic with the content you produce. Stick to a niche. Stick to what you want to be known for. Stick to what your product or service is associated with. That way you're going to attract the right people and be able to sell them your product or service because they are interested. It's not rocket science. Next, if your end goal, again, is to sell that product or service, you need to make your followers aware of this product or service. If they don't know that you have a product or service to sell, then they're never going to approach you for it in the first place. I create carousels. We have 10 slides to get across our point, but I make sure that on the final slide, slide number 10, that's my call to action slide. That's where I ask a question of my audience so I can encourage that engagement, but I also note the product or service I provide to just make people aware of it. I would also then again, at the very bottom of my caption, I'll provide much more value within that caption. But then at the very bottom, I'll use that as an opportunity again to point them to the product or service that I'm trying to sell at that point in time. If I didn't tell my audience that I had a product or service to sell, they wouldn't come to me for it. They wouldn't buy it from me because they don't know it exists. And this is a mistake that I see a lot of people making. They go, "Oh, Ethan, nobody's approaching me for my services." And I say, well, I'm looking at your page now, and there's nowhere on your page that says you have a product or service, or that product or service that you're actually telling me about. In your bio, for example, put DM me for one-to-one coaching. That makes people aware subconsciously that you are a coach and they can get coaching from you. You're not saying how much it costs or what they're actually needing to do throughout that coaching practice, but they're coming to your page just saying, "Oh, okay, he does coaching." So then as they consume your content, as you build that trust, as you show your authority, they know already, once they read this, they can come to you for coaching because you've made them aware of it. So to achieve that desired outcome of selling that product or service, make sure people know that that product or service exists. And the final thing I want to point out is that you should be treating your Instagram page as a sales funnel. This is something that I say a lot of the time. Instagram is not your business. It's not. It's simply a place that you grab attention through the content you produce, through the engagement that you do. You leverage that attention and push them further down your sales funnel, whether that be getting them to DM you so that you can build that relationship there, sending them to your website, getting them to book a discovery call through a Calendly link. But that's all coming from the fact that your Instagram is essentially your shop front. And then you're leveraging the attention that you grab and sending them further down your funnel. Now, if you're not doing this, then again, you're never going to direct someone to actually selling your product or service. So what you need to do is you need to have a call to action. If you aren't telling people the steps they need to take next, they're never going to take those steps. You've got to nudge people in the right direction. They're not going to willingly go out and just approach you and go, Ethan, give me your product or service. I love your content. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It would be great if it did, but just doesn't happen. You have to make them aware. It's closely related to the other point. So an example is that on my final slide, I say, look, go and grab the Instagram Mastery Bundle. It teaches you in much further depth how to grow the perfect brand on Instagram that you can leverage to help grow your business. I let them know about this. I tell them to go and visit the link in my bio to purchase it. And I do that again at the bottom of my caption. I'm nudging them in the right direction further down my funnel because I've leveraged that attention that I've grabbed from my Instagram page. And this leverage that you have over these people is going to progress over time because as you grow, as you continue to produce content, you build that authority and you build that trust. As that grows and grows and grows, people trust you more and more and more. And when people trust you more, they're much more likely to do what you say and go further down that sales funnel because they feel as if they owe you something because you've consistently provided them with this value through your content. And now they want that exclusive content. So they're going to see your post, they're going to see your call to action and go, okay, I want that. I'm going to go to the next step in the funnel. And then you've got that person in your ecosystem and then you can go even further, assuming that you have a higher ticket product. It's as simple as that. If you don't create content based on your product, you're never going to attract the right people. If you don't tell people about your product or service, then they're never going to know about it. And if you don't direct people further down your sales funnel with the call to action telling them that they should buy it, then they're not going to willingly do so. So once you combine all these three steps, you are achieving what your end goal is from your content. It's not likes, it's not comments, it's not shares, it's not saves. It might be if that's what you're going for. But if you're trying to grow a business, you want to leverage this audience. You want to leverage this attention that you're grabbing and build that business. That's the goal of content creation. For me, if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably the goal of content creation for you. And therefore, you need to be implementing those steps. And that wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turned on post notifications. But I did just want to mention that this is a part of my podcast series, Social Media Marketing School, and it can be found on pretty much any podcast platform. So I'm going to leave some links in the description. Head over to that and make sure you are subscribing. And the audio version is the place to be because I release this content a little bit sooner over there than I do here on YouTube. But if you've got any questions with regards to anything I've mentioned in the video, please just reach out to me on Instagram at @themarketingethan. Send me a DM and I'll make sure I get back to you no matter what. But I did just want to finish off by saying, if you have made it to this point, thank you for tuning in and I'll see you in the next one.